it appears, Lana, as if President Musk is starting to get a little bit under the skin of old Donald. This just came out. And by the way, let's just keep in mind and remember, we haven't even started yet. They haven't even taken office yet. And here's a story that just came out. Headline says that Trump is reportedly complaining about Elon in private and hates the President Musk joke, which is why everybody needs to continue to keep that up. President-elect Donald Trump has been complaining about his first buddy, Elon Musk, behind closed doors, according to a reporter. Trump and Musk have become close in recent months, with the tech billionaire reportedly staying at the cottage just a few hundred feet away from the main house at Mar-a-Lago. Trump also tapped Musk to co-head the ridiculous Department of Government Efficiency. I threw in the word ridiculous, by the way. But that appears to be trouble in paradise, according to Maggie Haberman of the New York Times. Trump does complain a bit to people about how Musk is around a lot. Yeah. She said that on the Kara Swisher show. Musk has been a major donor to Trump this campaign cycle, and he's sort of tied into various areas around Trump, which makes things more complicated. Musk seems more willing to irritate Trump than a lot of the other people have been, and less concerned about what it might mean, of course, because he's got the money and he doesn't care, and he's got the ego. Yeah. It's a fraught relationship and has potential for becoming even more so. The pair became so close that some dubbed the Tesla CEO President Musk. But the president-elect swiftly addressed that during a speech in Arizona last month. No, he's not taking the presidency. That's not happening. Asked about how Trump reacted to the President Musk line, Haberman said it definitely bothers him. Trump is not a wind-up toy, but there certainly are very specific things that can zotst him. That's a very interesting use of a word. But finally it says, but she predicted that once Trump takes office, this will change a little bit. He doesn't anticipate that Musk will go to the West Wing with him, and Trump keeps people around for a long time if they feel they are if he's of use for them, and totally never closes the door to somebody, whether they're rich or not. But Musk comes with something that President Steve Bannon did not, which is a lot of money. And she added that others in his circles are struggling with how aggressive Musk can be in their interactions, but she believed that they wouldn't admit it publicly. So that is already starting, Lana. We haven't even taken office yet.
No, that's going to be just a mess. Like, if there are going to be fights between his staff, the administration before with Trump, and then Trump will be last. Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it already is happening.
Trump is older, too. Like, older people just don't like being around annoyance. Like, things are, like, bothersome. And Musk seems like he doesn't know when to go home. He's that guest that's just like...
The thing that wouldn't leave.
And he's staying in one of Trump's cottages. I bet that cottage is, like, all gaudy and shit. You know what I mean? Like, Musk is probably looking at that place like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's probably rich, gaudy looking, which Musk is probably used to, like, high tech, expensive, and Trump is cheap rich. Like, he's not that guy.
You know what's funny, Lana? That brings me back to the book that I read. There's a couple things, like he was having meetings with somebody that he was trying to get a big sale from, and he had him up at his place, and the guy was looking around because he was with another guy, and he expressed to him, he's like, what a gaudy, and it was just, he didn't expect it to be like that. Yeah. And the guy started taking pictures of the portraits that Trump had on the wall, and Trump would say no pictures. And the reason is because these pictures were supposedly like rare art, but it turned out, and both of them knew it, that they were cheap knockoffs, and they weren't even real art in his own place, in his own apartment. They were also saying too, you would go into Trump Tower and you would go into his casinos, you would go into, nothing smelled of luxury. Like, they were chipped, like furniture in there. It was just like the carpets were moldy.
I was going to say the carpets look like they smell.
Yep.
That picture of Mike Johnson and Trump in front of at Mar-a-Lago in front of the exit sign. And I'm just like, why does it still look like this? This is
right.
It shouldn't still, I mean, why does it look like this? Like everything, like the picture, everything around where they're taking it. It's almost like here's the good spot. Always take the pic because all of the pictures are always in a certain area. Remember the video when the Hungarian friggin' oligarch went to Mar-a-Lago and they had like the band out there and Trump was on that cheap ass stage? Like it just looked so ew, like 70s. Like this Trump is cheap. Who's he paying to renovate Mar-a-Lago?
He doesn't.
Right.
That's the thing. He doesn't. He didn't even pay to renovate his own so-called hotels. He didn't renovate anything. And by the way, you know why he couldn't? Because he didn't have the money to do it anyway.
Right. So it's like these people are just placating him because he's just gotten. I mean, you gotta say he's got the gift to gab because he's put himself in this position of power where people just fucking bow down. But the other piece is that they know he has connections and they also know that it's like they're bowing down but not. It's like they'll placate him because they know they can get something in return. So it's like if I gotta like Zuckerberg or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yep.
If I gotta say this shit, then I'll get my tax cuts. He'll leave my company alone. Like, fuck it, I'll just do it. It's like, I'm not a fucking coward. I'm doing what's best for my fucking company.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guess, but you know, it's like, he's got all the money in the world. So like, you know, it's like stand up a little bit, but
I agree. I don't understand it because you're right. Like, how can he truly touch you? It's not, he can't make you poor.
Right. Right. He can't. But, you know, also, too, when you take over those companies, you have this massive ego that you don't ever want anybody being able to touch your stuff. But, you know, there's this you were bringing up something about how he's got the gift of gab. You know, there is something to that going around and acting as if, right? You know, that act as if you've got it. And if you even act as if you've got it, you might be able to pull off the prettier girl that you would never be able to get or whatever the case is. But what I will say is that Donald Trump has an advantage. You can act as if when your daddy hands you money all the time when you need to be bailed out, when your father passes away, you get hundreds of millions of dollars to get bailed out again. And the other thing, the only thing he really made money on was his father passing away and The Apprentice. And The Apprentice he had nothing to do with. None of that was his brainchild. None of it. It was all Mark Burnett who made him millions and millions of dollars. Other than that, he was a disaster.
Kind of like Elon, right? Like it's not like Elon was back designing Teslas.
Right. Except at least the only thing about Elon is Elon had a rich daddy too. And he basically just walked into these companies. He took them over somehow. He didn't develop any of them. He didn't develop PayPal. He did not develop Tesla. He didn't develop SpaceX. He didn't develop any of these projects. They're all government subsidized too. Tesla, SpaceX, all these things. And he suckered people into making them believe that he is the one that discovered it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. What I will say for him, at least he was able to take any of the money and any of the things that he made and made profit of it. Of course, his purchase of Twitter is an absolute disaster. But you know what? It worked out for him because he bought that to buy the presidency of the United States, which he successfully did.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's gonna make him overstep, which we're gonna find out.
That's exactly right. And again, Elon's got that attitude, like he's almost robotic about it. Like I am taking over the world and nothing's going to stop me. Not even this old fucking douchebag who people bow down to. I promise you, I will get them to bow down to me. Now we'll see how that battle plays out.
Yeah, and let's see where he is in 4 years. It's going to be an interesting thing when because Trump is lame duck. He's only got 4 years. So like you just go back to Twitter just being Twitter, like, you know, even if it's another Republican president, hopefully not, God willing, but like I don't think you're gonna be in the same position. Like you're just not.
That's what I say. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because if there is a battle where they either piss off Trump or they piss off Musk, they piss off Musk. What if Musk says, all right, well, I'm turning this into a anti-Trump website? What if I'm,
right? That's the part where that's the tricky part for Trump, right? You just go with this shit and start losing your staff because your staff's going to be fighting with Elon. Vivek and Elon are going to fight. Like, it's just all going to be a fucking mess.
Because really, Lana, what is more powerful, and who would be more powerful in this thing? The guy who runs the entire country, or the guy who runs the #1 social media platform where people get their news? Right. So it's a hell of a battle, and it seems like one that could play out at some point. So we'll see how that works.